Yo, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, freedom marchers, freedom lovers, freedom family, freedom fighters. Snapzilla Gorillas in the building. Bring you guys the morning paper, where we're going to get into some more dog and pony show kabuki theater bullshit that keeps us stuck on stupid. But let me give you guys a second to enter into the building. Salute to Coach Hudson this morning. Salute to you, comrade. Salute to you. Yeah, we're going to get into the nonsense, man. We're going to get into the sense. Yes. We're going to get into the left-right paradigm logic. We're going to get into the shit that keeps us stuck on stupid. We're going to get into the shit that we really should be focused on. Because the left-right paradigm, the left-right driven narratives is what keeps us brain dead. It's what keeps us brain dead because we got to choose one side or the other. It always got to be one side. It always has to be the lesser of two evils. We can't just not choose evil. We got to choose the lesser of two evils. We can't just say, you know what? I'm going to leave both evils the fuck alone because we don't know how much evil is involved. We just want to say, oh, yeah, well, we got to shit on this side. We got to shit on this side. We want to say we acknowledge both sides are ass, but we got to focus on one side. What we're going to do is we're going to draw the parallels. We're going to connect the dots between both sides, right? They're connected. This Epstein file shit, every time you hear something new about it, it gets more wild and more retarded. I appreciate that, Coach Hudson. And what we're really talking about, we're talking about how dozens to hundreds of babies, right? Little girls. I don't care if you want to say, oh, a 14-year-old ain't no little girl or 17. No, they're all little girls. They're all little girls that have been exploited by the elite class perverts. Perverts from the left and the right. But we want to focus on which side is more perverted. And it's kind of crazy because left, right, up, down, in, out. There are nasty motherfuckers on both sides. And what I want to highlight is the nonsense surrounding this whole thing with the Epstein files, the Ghislaine Maxwell list, and all this bullshit, how it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because we know that Jeffrey Epstein, salute to Stray Godzilla, Jeffrey Epstein was convicted of child sex trafficking. Who did he traffic those children to? Who did he traffic those children to? That should be the focus. Not whether or not one side had more clients than the other. They both had clients. Both sides were involved. Now, this judge out of the Southern District of New York, I forgot his name, but you guys can look him up. He refuses to release the transcripts from the grand jury for Jeffrey Epstein. And according to his reasoning, it's because there are names of victims in there, in the transcripts, that need to be protected. Okay. And then another piece of reasoning he uses is because, well, the DOJ has way more information simply from the investigation itself. So, okay, the DOJ has All this documentation from the investigation. Okay. Well, you're saying this leftist judge who was appointed by Bill Clinton, by the way, this judge was appointed by Bill Clinton, a leftist, right? He was put there in place by George Clinton. He's a leftist. Okay, your logic, you want to point at the DOJ and say, look at those guys. Oh, they have all this investigation information. They have that. Well, the investigation led to what? It led to the grand jury. It led to the possibility of having a grand jury, right? Because you got to have your investigation intact before you indict someone. And in order to indict someone, in some cases, you got to go through the grand jury says, okay, go ahead and indict them. Well, there had to be information in the transcripts for the grand jury that would lead to the indictment. The indictment then leads to what? The trial. The trial then leads to what? It leads to Jeffrey Epstein being convicted and sentenced. So the judge is telling y'all, well, I want to protect the victims' names. Okay, that's understandable. Just redact their names. Strike their names out. Don't release the names, but release all the other information, because I don't care about the names of the victims, to be honest with y'all, because the victims are the victims. Why do I need to know their names? I want their privacy protected, of course. Yes, I have no problem not knowing the victims' names. God bless them, and I hope they make it throughout life okay. And I know some of them, they say one of them passed away due to self-deletion last year. We want the victims to be okay, and one way to ensure the victims receive some level of closure or some level of justice is to release all the information about the individuals that victimized them. And it's not just the DOJ investigation, it's also the transcripts from the grand jury. Why not give that? Why not release that? You say, well, look at the DOJ has a lot more information. Okay, so what? The DOJ releases their information, you release their information. All the information gets released. It makes no sense to withhold crucial information for the public simply because there's more information before that. It all needs to be released. How about we get all this information? Not just what you say, oh, look, the DOJ is holding back. Okay, if the DOJ is holding back, then they need to release their shit too. Everything needs to be released. Why is it so important? Because Jeffrey Epstein had a list of clients that participated in the nasty behavior. Therefore, we need to know who these people are so we know how to deal with them. And if you don't give us the information so we know how to deal with them, we know you guys are protecting these people. And it's not just the people on the right, it's also the people on the left. The judges that give the excuses. Because you can just redact. You can redact the victims' names. We don't need to know the victims' names. We know the victims are the victims. There's evidence and proof of that. Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell did not recruit all these young girls for themselves and themselves alone. No. Yet, we still have people running around free. Like Alan Dershowitz, who is a leftist. Just so y'all know. But y'all, we tie Alan Dershowitz to Trump. But Alan Dershowitz is a stomp down liberal. Trump, according to people, is a Republican, but he's not. He is a New York Democrat. He ran as a Republican because he knew he would have a better chance of getting elected if you believe in the left-right paradigm line. So what did he told? He told y'all he would vote Republican because they're stupid. and he knew he would win. Okay, there's that. At the end of the day, these people will hop from one side to another as they see fit. So, a judge on the left denies the release of crucial information in this case, and the Department of Justice from the right is also refusing to release pertinent information that would lead us to know who victimized these children. Everybody. That, because at the end of the day, that is what's most important. What's most important is to understand who of these elite class members had a hand in victimizing children. But we want to play these political games about the left and the right. Fuck out of here with that. Right? Fuck out of here with that. I want to know who did it. I don't care if they're a leftist or a rightist. I don't care if they're independent, Green Party, an anarchist, a voluntarist. I don't care what ideology they follow. Once you have victimized a child in any way, form, or fashion, whether it be sexually, whether it be violent, whether it be whatever the case may be, it doesn't matter what side you're on. Being on one side does not preclude you from the ability and the capability of participating in child abuse. So, the DOJ needs to release information, and the courts need to allow information to be released from the grand jury. Because you know why? Because the grand jury shit is sealed, right? The grand jury transcripts are supposed to be sealed, but you can unseal them motherfuckers. You can unseal them. Let's not play games here. It's happened before. It's not supposed to be unsealed until there is an outcome. Well, we have an outcome. Ghislaine Maxwell got 20 years, and now she's trying to get a pardon. Right? She talked to the DOJ, and now she's trying to get a pardon. She gave 100 names up. And for weeks, we believe these names were part of a client list. 100 names, 100 more names. That means that she gave names before, which we indeed know. She gave up 100 names recently. I told you guys about it. Well, why is she now saying, in the DOJ now saying, that those names are not clients? Why are they now saying that? Why are they saying, oh yeah, those aren't clients, that's not a client list? Well, what the fuck are the names for? Why'd you give up 100 names if they're not guilty of anything? That's what they want us to believe. They want us to believe that the client list is not the client list. That 100 names that she gave recently, they're not clients. Oh, they didn't mess with these little children. No. These are just names of, well, what the fuck are the names for? See, they think we're stupid. They think we're stupid. They think we're stupid. Understand what I'm talking about? We know that Donald Trump's name is on the list. So, is it that they're trying to protect Donald Trump? No, it already came out. Donald Trump is on the list. He was informed in May. And then you guys found out in July. And then we found out later on in July that he knew since May. Okay. Why are we still trying to act like this is about protecting Trump? No. Because people are already going to believe what they want to believe about Donald Trump's name being in the files. Whether he's guilty or not. There are people that have made their mind up. There's some that they're saying, That doesn't mean he's guilty. There are some that are automatically believing he's guilty. Okay. Well, until we get all the information, we're not going to know, are we? Because the justice system is protecting. The justice system is protecting the people on this list, guilty or not. Because they're not releasing the list, they haven't made any arrests outside of Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. Where are the arrests? We knew Prince Andrew, was on the list, but somehow he's still running around free. We know that there are compromising photos and whatnot about for Alan Dershowitz. That came out, but why is he not under arrest? So the things that did come out about the individuals we do know about have not been arrested. Where are the arrests of any of the clients? So are we to believe that Epstein did all this with all these girls, all by himself? Is that what we're supposed? Oh, they're not clients. Okay, why did you give the name, Ghislaine? Why are you now trying to get a pardon? Why are you now trying to get free? Why are you now concerned that you're going to end up like Jeffrey? Why are you telling people, oh, well, I don't think Donald Trump, Donald Trump is not like that. But, well, when they ask you, how do you know that? You say, well, because of what I heard when I was in jail. No, you knew Donald Trump, didn't you? You don't think Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. And when they ask you, why do you believe that? You say, well, because of what I heard. No, Ghislaine. You know why. It's because you were threatened. Okay? You were threatened, in my opinion. And now you're acting like, well, I didn't really get the information from a real source. I just got it. I believe it because of the reason everyone else believes it. Because of vlogs and social media posts and all this other stuff. Okay, you believe that Donald Trump or that Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself because that's what you heard while he was in prison. Okay, fair enough. I don't believe that. I believe when you ran your mouth about those names, somebody paid you a visit. They paid you a visit and told you keep your fucking mouth shut, or you're going to end up like Jeff, like good old Jeff. You're going to end up like your boy. And then when you ran your mouth about it, you said you felt like your life might be in danger because of what you heard during the time Jeffrey Epstein supposedly deleted himself. So you think the same might happen to you? Hey, listen. Very smart. Very smart. But when you give these names up, somehow they're not supposed to mean anything. Then why give these names? See, this is all one big protection circle for the elite class. Because the elite class does not see left or right. What do they see? They see straight down the middle like we should see. That's why they're so ahead in the game. That's why they're so ahead. Because they don't get caught up in the left-right bullshit, because they understand at the end of the day, their senators and their Congress people, they're going to cross that aisle and give each other high fives. They're going to give each other high fives. They don't really have any real animosity. If you ever look at these countries where they really have these things going on, where they really have opposing parties, they get the fighting. That's how you know, okay, that might be some real shit right there. They might actually be against each other. One guy, I forgot what they were doing. They were trying to vote on something. And this dude pulls the fire alarm. So the vote would be stopped. That's the extent that these motherfuckers will go to show that they actually oppose each other. But when it comes to violating your rights, they'll all get on board with each other. The 9/11 Patriot Act, that was bipartisan. The Model States Health Emergency Powers Act, that was down the middle. That was bipartisan. Every time they pass a spending bill to spend your money, that goes down the middle for the most part. Look at what they do vote bipartisanly on. It always has something to do with spending your money and taking your rights away. Unless when it comes to guns, the right has to pretend like they really care about your right to keep and bear arms. They have to put up a fight in that regard. This is what happens. They are all protecting each other. The leftist judge in the Southern District of New York is protecting the clients of Jeffrey Epstein. And so is the Department of Justice Attorney General Pam Bondi. They're doing their jobs. They're protecting their elite class individuals because these are going to be bankers. See, y'all think it's just entertainers and politicians on this list. No, it's not just those people. They're going to be bankers. They're going to be people that names you don't even recognize. And you're going to be like, who the fuck is that? And you look into it, and you look at all these shell companies that pop up. These are the games they play, y'all. There is more at stake with this list than y'all realize. And nothing's going to come out about it. Just so y'all know. Like Coach Hudson said, y'all hit the like button. When it comes out, it's going to be nothing. Just like this Ghislaine Maxwell list that she gave, the 108. Now they're saying, no, there's no evidence that they committed any criminal activity. Then what do we have these people for? What's going to happen is they're going to use this to distract from what's going on, a power transfer, a transfer of wealth. They always cover something, right? It's going to be a transfer of wealth. It's going to be a mobilization of somebody. Maybe they're going to mobilize some troops somewhere. They're going to position troops. They don't want you to know what they're doing. This is a distraction tactic. They have no intent on releasing a real list. Who is on the Lolita Express? All kind of people. Brad Pitt, motherfucking Tom Hanks, all kind of people. Obama, Bill Clinton, Donald Trump. They were on the manifest, right? They were on it. They're all on this shit. Well, okay, that's just a manifest. What is the evidence of what they did while they were on that island? That's the key, right? Well, Jeffrey Epstein had some of it. He knew. He had evidence. Ghislaine Maxwell. She was the madam. She was the recruiter of these children. Just like that one actress, I forgot her fucking name, from years ago. Not even from years ago. But before, she was also a recruiter. She was an actress. She got placed under arrest. Well, where are the clients in that case? The fucking pizza joint in goddamn Washington, D.C.? Blessings, Slim Hussein. Blessings to you. Where are these clients at? They're always arresting the trafficker and the trafficker's assistant. They're going to place arrest on the middle management players, right? Like at that like I told y'all about the club in South Carolina. where they were trafficking children, and they arrested dozens of people. They arrested cartel members and all that other shit. Well, who were they facilitating? Now, you might consider that to be, well, those are low level. Those are going to be low level Johns that can afford a couple $100 worth of shit. There's a whole network. There is an entire network of this sex trafficking ring. Y'all think it's all separated. Y'all think it's an isolated incidents. Y'all think this is isolated. Same thing in Colorado. They had that club in Colorado doing the same shit, where there were military members, active members of the military that were part of this sex trafficking ring in Colorado. Y'all think these are isolated incidents? No, they're just giving y'all they're giving y'all low-level trafficking rings that they're stinging, and they're saying, here, look at what we're doing. Well, that's low-level shit. We want everybody, but we also want the high-level shit. Y'all think Epstein was the only one? No. Y'all think it stopped? Y'all think these people are no longer participating in this nasty behavior simply because Epstein got caught? No. There's going to be another purveyor. There's a whole market for this shit. There's an entire market. How many children have gone missing in Virginia? I meant to do a story on that. I need to do a little bit more research, because the research I did do, because for a lot of this shit you got to rely on the police departments, right? That gather this information, that are alerted and notified when these children come up missing. Well, they want to downplay it. I noticed that when I looked into the Virginia children missing, they downplay. They tell you, it's been so many hundred people since in 2025 alone. Hundreds of children have gone missing. Oh, but most of them are runaways, and a lot of them come back. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear that shit. Y'all are just, how am I supposed to believe that? When you tell me, a lot of them, they are runaways, and a lot of them, they come back. Well, you give me the numbers of the number of missing children, but where are the numbers of the children that come back? What are the numbers of the children that actually ran away? And how do you know they did run away? Are you assuming? What are we talking about? We want to downplay the number of missing children that happen every fucking year. Hundreds of thousands. Do most of those children come back? No. No. They end up in these rings, and when they're used up, they get sent down to the low level shit, and then that's when they start making arrests. I'm going to keep it real raw up in here, because I want you guys to understand the gravity of what we're dealing with. When they take these children initially, it's like fresh meat to these people. When they use them up, they send them on down the road. And when they get on down the road, okay, yeah, we'll let these little low-level Johns use them, and then we'll start making arrests, because we have to pretend like we're doing something about this. Well, where are the fucking high-level client arrests? Where are they at? It's always the madam, it's always the head, it's always the recruiters. Well, when you're using an actress and a socialite like Maxwell, you're not doing. No, they're not recruiting girls for some street motherfucker. No, these are not streetwalkers they're making here. No, they have to drug these children. They have to brain filth these children. Y'all, people like to say brainwash. No, a washed mind is a clear mind. No, we're talking about a mind made filthy. A mind made filthy by these nasty, disgusting demons. You drug them up, you use them up, and you send them out onto the streets. You put them in these fucking clubs, and then you let the cartels run and have their way with them. You pass them on down. You use them up. Then you send them on down the road. And it's not just American children. No, they'll take the children from South American children, Haitian children, Dominican children, right? Cuban children, Panamanian children. And believe it or not, a lot of these children's parents sell them to these cartel members, sell them to these traffickers so they can get some money. Yeah, a lot of them sell their children. That doesn't make it right. It just means that those parents, they need to be tied to a tree, tarred and feathered as well. A lot of the parents sell their children into bondage. And they have contracts. They'll get money. They'll get money during a certain period of time until their children are used up. This is what happens in South America. This happens all over the world. It happens in the Philippines. It happens all over the world. When I was in college, I looked into this shit because I was like, man, I've been on this shit since 2008. Right? When I really started understanding. Not even really, before I really started understanding how deep this shit goes. Why are all these children missing? Is it just some guy in a pickup truck, in a semi truck, in a van, randomly going? No, it's not. All this shit is orchestrated from the top down. And 9 times out of 10, by the time these children are found, they have gone through so much trauma. I did a research paper on it. I don't know if you guys remember, I did, and then I highlighted this one young lady who was 16 years old, who killed her John because she was fed up. She was 16 years old. She killed her John. And what? I forgot. Oh, I wish I knew her fucking name. I might be able to find the paper too that I did on it. They killed her John. She killed her John. Right? Killed her John. But she got into it when they snatched her, when they recruited her, when she was like 13, 14 years old. She had been doing it a couple years and she was tired. Killed her John. Not necessarily in self-defense. She just killed him. She was fed up. She was 16 years old. They tried her as an adult. Didn't matter that she was a victim for 4 years or 3 or 4 years. No, it didn't matter. Damn, I forgot her name. I wish I knew her name. She, a petite young lady, girl, light skinned, forgot her fucking name. But now she talks and she puts her story out there to prevent young ladies that were her age, young girls, from being caught up in the recruitment process. Because I think she was a runaway or something like that. And she wasn't necessarily kidnapped, but her mind, right? She's an impressionable 14-year-old girl. Some pimp dragged her into the life. So she killed this John. And they tried her as an adult. They didn't give a fuck that she was abused, because in their mind, well, she volunteered. She's a fucking child. She definitely was victimized from day one by this pimp. Now, when she killed old boy, I don't think she had a pimp. She didn't have a pimp, I don't believe. But it doesn't matter, right? Now, there was questions of whether or not it was self-defense. I think he might have did something that triggered her or something like that. It doesn't fucking matter. She's 16 years old, and you're a grown-ass man, homie. Salute to Stormy B. Man in the building. The girl was 16 years old, killed her John, and she tried as an adult. I did a paper on it. And that story inspired me to write a short story. I wrote a short story in college during my creative writing class, and it's called The Panama Shuffle. I actually plan on publishing it, right? It's a little short story. It's basically about eggs trafficking for how it happens, right? How it is done, how it ends up happening on levels you would never understand, right? And in the short story, there's a military man, right? It stars a guy who's in the military. He's active at the time of the story. Is like in the 90s. It was set in the 90s. And he discovered a high-level sex trafficking ring that the general on that base in Panama was instrumental in. Right? So he discovered that this one soldier was helping to kidnap little children and get ready to traffic them to where they would be needed or be wanted. They used the military. And this general knew about it, and he actually was instrumental in it happening. And the main character, along with, a CID, right? A CID warrant officer, CID investigators, because he killed the main character killed one of the dudes that were helping snatch up the children. He killed him, and when he confronted the general killed himself. That's how the story ended. Because the general was confronted by the main character, and the main character was about to kill him anyway. He's the one to make sure that he knew for sure. And when he was in his office, he found the evidence that happened. These things happen on levels that we would never understand unless we cared to understand. This was before I wrote this short story the year Epstein first got convicted. When he did his little 18 months. When he did a little 18 months at Club Fed and it had a work release. I wrote that story before that. When you have an understanding of how deep this shit goes, then you know that when they make these arrests of these cartel members and they find these children that have been missing for years or missing for months, those children, they were already used up by the elites. The elite class uses these children up. And then these children spend the rest of their lives in that lifestyle. They become damaged mentally. And no one is out here protecting them. Right? Well, there are people out there trying to protect them. Like these guys, Veterans for Child Safety, I think it's called. Veterans for Child Safety, I think. You got groups out there that go around the world trying to rescue trafficked children. Now, these are volunteers, y'all, that take donations to do this shit. When they extract our wealth, They extort us every fucking week. They get billions and billions of dollars off the people every week, off our paychecks. You mean to tell me that you can't pay? You can't have a team going around the world rescuing these children? No, veterans who are no longer active have to put their lives at risk. They're not protected. They get caught doing this shit. You think the government's gonna send a rescue team? Hell no. Because they go places where the military is not supposed to go to help these children. They can't do it in the United States necessarily because, well, there are jurisdictional issues and they'll be told to mind their own goddamn business. But no, they go around the world helping children get found with donations, voluntarily. I was about to sign up. Yep, I was about to sign up and become one of the guys that goes out there to help the children when I found out about it. I was like, wait, there's a veteran group that does this? Hell, sign me up. But my wife said, hell no, you got your own children to protect. She was like, no, I don't like that. I don't want you going all around the world doing that and putting your life at risk. You got children right here at home. So I couldn't, I didn't do it for that reason. I was like, yeah, you're right, because I got to protect my family as well. But if my children, once my children are grown and they're old enough, best believe I will. I would do something like this. But why are they doing it? Why do they have to do it? And this is what I talk about. This is this is a perfect example of how worthless government is. They'll take our money and pay for they'll send money to Pakistan for gender studies. They'll send billions of dollars to Israel. They'll send billions of dollars to this country, that country. But you can't pay teams to go find these missing children, to go stop sex trafficking all over the world, not even just for children. For adults too, who are victims of these individuals. I'm sorry I can't really read y'all chats right now. I'm driving, I'm trying to focus, and I don't have my glasses on, so. But nonetheless, y'all, it is what it is. This is a reality. In reality, your children in general, are the least protected class in the world. And this is proven by the fact that no one wants to release any real information in regards to the Epstein files. We get a list, they release a list, or not release a list, they say there's a list. Ghislaine Maxwell gave a list of names, at least two separate occasions. The DOJ goes through the Epstein files and tells us, no, the list, there's no criminal evidence. There's nothing for us to criminally charge anybody in this list. How could that be true? So, what does that tell you? That tells you that, even though the judge tells you, we don't want to release the no, we're not going to release the transcripts because we don't want the victims. We want to keep the victims' privacy. We don't want the victims to be exposed. Okay, we'll keep their fucking names out of it. Keep the names out of it. We want the names of the fucking criminals. Okay, redact the names of the children, of the victims. Yeah, cover their names up. I don't want to know. That's not the point. The point of releasing the transcript is so that we can have the information. What was done, who participated, how much damage was done to these children, Who are the names? Who are the criminals in this situation? But we can't get that. So what does that tell you? That tells you that the perpetrators of this behavior is a more protected class than the children that are victimized. But they tell us, oh, we can't give this information up because we protect the children. No, that's not true. You told Ghislaine Maxwell, oh yeah, she gave us the list of 100 names just cause. They're not, there's nothing to implicate them in any wrongdoing. Man, they really think we're stupid. Children are the least protected class in the world. Least protected, less protected than black folks, less protected than poor folks, less protected than veterans. Children are the least protected class. And this is something we have to understand as parents. I have 6 children. I got 6 children. Imagine you have children going to a school and you find out that your children were victimized by a diddler. Okay? Your children were victimized by grown adults in an exual manner. Okay, you know that happened. And then there was a facilitator of that behavior. Let's say it was the principal. The principal had people coming in your school, grown people, victimizing your children. He facilitated the behavior. And so did his vice principal, or so did his secretary. Let's say his secretary went and recruited these children in your school. Hold on a second, guys. Hold on. Getting a phone call. Salute to Mind and Man Moves. Realize. Salute to you. So think about it. Your children, the whole, not all the children, but a group of children were involved in some nasty behavior, right? They were victimized by people. But you know that the principal and the principal secretary was recruiting the girls and the boys, and they facilitated the nasty behavior. And you know that they did it with, they had adult clients, right? Would you be satisfied just knowing that the principal and the secretary were caught and that's it? Or would you want to know who every one of the motherfuckers they facilitated this behavior for? You want to know who they are also, right? You don't want to just know that the principal and the secretary were the facilitators. You want to know who the participants were as well. Exactly, Coach Hudson, get them on. But they want us to be satisfied with Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. And they want to tell us, no one here. No one on this list. There's no evidence of criminal activity. Who the you would want to know? Everybody involved. Everybody. You wouldn't want to. If this happened in your school, look at that on the smallest scale possible. And then when the grand jury happened, would you be okay with the judge saying, the investigators, the local prosecutor, go talk to him. He has all the information. He did the investigation that led to us bringing this grand jury. I'm not going to release the grand jury transcripts because the detectives and the prosecutor, they have all the investigation files. So just be satisfied with that. We'll keep the transcripts out of it. Would you be okay with that? No. Because what is going to be in those grand jury transcripts? Probably some client names, right? Maybe not all of them, but some. We need to be able to start somewhere, right? We got all these trees in the town square lined up. We got all the trees. We got all the rope. We got some honey, and we got a bunch of fire ants. We got garden shears to cut off phalluses. We got everything we need to punish these people in the town square in front of everybody, to make an example out of them. But we only get 2 people? They only tell us about 2 people. So okay, we get to tie up, we get to handle 2 people. But we know there's a goddamn number of individuals that actually did the shit to my children. But I'm just gonna be okay with this. Because the prosecutor and the detectives, they're Republicans. And the judge that refused to release they're Republicans. So we're going to focus on, that prosecutor, the mayor of your town. The mayor's name is on the list. We're going to just tell you, his name is in there somewhere. And him and the principal were best friends. So that has to mean that because it was said that they're best friends, that automatically means that the mayor was one of the criminals, one of the clients, automatically. So instead of focusing on, who are all these other people on in these lists, we want to focus on the mayor. All right, we know the mayor's name is in the list. The prosecutor and the detective told that motherfucker that he's in that file. All right, we know that. But we're going to focus on that. We're not going to talk about the hundreds of other people or the dozens of other people that are in this list, that are in these files. Now, we're going to focus on the mayor. Okay. Does that make sense to y'all? Story B Man says they range from judges, politicians, celebrities, sports figures, elite, and lower status individuals. You can basically say yes, Stormy B Man. That's exactly what you can say. But see, that's the problem for some people. Because if they release this list, this client list, they will discover exactly what you just said, Stormy B Man. And guess what? They're going to see an R by their name. They're going to see a D by their name. They're going to see an I by their name. They're going to see all these different things. It's going to run the gambit of a Republican, from Republicans to Democrats. It's not convenient enough for them, because it'll blow the whole shit up. If we realized how far this went, because on C-SPAN, they'll act like they're opposing each other. But when it comes to participating in this nasty behavior, they high-five each other. They don't want us to discover that, do they? That's why that list will never fucking come out. It'll never come out. As long as they can help it. It'll never come out, because once we get those names, it's a wrap for these motherfuckers, right? We're going to go after every name on that list. We're going to realize, look, this is a Republican. That's a Democrat. That's an independent. That's a small hat. That's a black guy. That's a white guy. That's a this guy, that guy. They're all in color when they have these nasty proclivities. Do you think they hate each other when they have those nasty proclivities and they get together? Because they know what's important. What's important to them? These elite class motherfuckers. What's important to them is to keep us divided down here while they work together up here to control everybody down there. Saddam Hussein says DC, aka Rome, on the Potomac. Exactly. Judges and all, yes. They're all in on it. This judge in the Southern District of New York, he's probably on the list. Or one of his leftist buddies are on the list. Or one of his rightist buddies. But if you release that list, if the list comes out, you will see no distinction between the left and the right. All you'll see are a bunch of nasty motherfuckers. You're gonna forget the left and the right wing bullshit. You're gonna forget the left-right paradigm lie. You're gonna forget that there's even a fucking bird with wings on it. No. All you're gonna see is that fucking bird. You're not gonna care about the wings after that, are you? And that's why this list will never come out. And if it comes out, it's gonna be because somebody has some balls to release it. Realize says everyone in this chat, they don't want to give up the list because it incriminates everybody and their grandmama is on that list and includes political figures and entertainers. Yes. You think Jeffrey Epstein worked? It wasn't no small potatoes. No, Jeffrey Epstein. No. It was not small potato. Jeffrey Epstein worked high level. Fresh meat, like I said earlier. Nubile. Untouched. Used them up. Passed them down. That's where the arrests are made. Down there on the lower levels. They don't make the arrest on the higher levels, do they? Unless it's just a recruiter or a motherfucking facilitator. Because they can just replace that recruiter and replace that facilitator. There's already another Jeffrey Epstein right now. There is a Jeffrey Epstein operating right now. He was probably working with Jeffrey Epstein. We just don't know about it. There's another Jeffrey. There will always be a Jeffrey Epstein. There will always be a Ghislaine Maxwell. There will always be the pizza guy. I forgot his fucking name. John Batista or whatever his name is. Forgot. Minor Man Smooth says basically it's over the world, all over the world. We have to live in this real life horror movie with no end, and we must fight. We must alive fight and do whatever survive means because it's over. Yeah. These motherfuckers don't care about left and right. They know you care about it. So they will exploit that. I told you about how California was trying to take 16 and 17-year-olds out of child sex trafficking laws because they want to make the laws, they want to make the punishments harsher, but they want to take the 16 to 17-year-olds out because they don't want to upset the LMNOP community. That's the narrative. Oh, it's not to protect the LMNOP community. No. It's to protect any PDF file that is up here on the elite level that may get caught. That's why the punishments are not very harsh in many cases. That's why that Brock kid, the piece of shit swimmer guy who had his way with that young girl by the trash can, only got probation. And what did the judge tell him? Well, I don't want to ruin your life from one little mistake. Well, he already ruined that little girl's life. But you want to let Brock, that piece of shit cracker, you want to let him get off on probation. And he's not even elite. He's just a guy on a swimming scholarship at a college. If they look at him that way, if they want to protect that little white piece of shit, because that's what he is. He's a piece of shit that happens to be white, who victimized a little black girl. And they let the white guy get off with probation. And now the little black girl has to live the rest of her life with the knowledge that this dude is probably swimming on some Olympic team right now and has a chance to live his life after he ruined her life. But this is how they protect a member of the non-elite class. Imagine how they're protecting the elites. You think they're going to let them get lynched like they should be? Absolutely not. Because guess why? They protect them because they are of the same ilk. And I'll leave you guys with that. I want us to think about that. We need to let this left-right bullshit go, particularly when it comes to child sexual abuse. Abusers know no left or right. They don't care about none of that. They don't care if they're Republican or Democrat. It has nothing to do with that. What it has to do with is that these grown-ass men and women, even these women that go around getting pregnant by 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds, these teachers, they're fucking liberals. Most of them. Do you think, oh, well, I'm a Democrat, I can't be going around fucking little boys? I'm going to leave that to the Republicans. Fuck no. And the Republicans aren't doing that either. That are participating. I'm a Republican. I can't not. No, Republicans don't diddle children. They don't give a fuck about none of that. If they have it in them to do it, and they think they can get away with it, guess what they're going to do? They're going to do it. It ain't going to matter if they're fucking left or right. I wish we get off this bullshit where we're just so, the left, the right. The left is so crazy, the blue hairs. The blue hairs. Look at the Brandon Tatums and these guys. These fucking coons. The Hodge twins. These fucking idiots. Running around acting like, I love me some white people. These fuckers. They invited this dude, the white dude in Arkansas, trying to start his own community. He's trying to, he wants to build a community of only white folks. I got to have him on the show. Why? So you can help him shit on black people? Because that's what you did. I'm gonna help this white man who wants to start his own community of white folks. I'm gonna help him shit on black people. Oh yeah. It's stupid. Well, when the black folks in Georgia bought 90 acres of land and decided to start their own community, Hodge twins, how come you didn't have them on for the same reason? Oh, you mean you shat on them? Okay, just like Brandon Tatum shat on these people for trying to start their own community that they wanted to feel safe. They wanted somewhere they could be safe. You shat on them. Oh, you want to be safe? Then why start a black community? Ha ha ha! You think it's fucking funny, right? 11 upstanding families bought 90 acres of land to build for themselves. But you want to shit on them. But this white man in Arkansas don't even want Jews on his land. You're going to invite him on the show and suck his dick and shit on black folks. This is what we're dealing with when we're dealing with the right. And when you're dealing with the left, they have a different form of racism, right? It's called paternalism. You know what that means? They think that they are daddy and they know what's best for us. Oh, yeah. What did this white woman say? When they tried to, I think it was, what state was that? And I'm going to get out of here after I tell you guys about this. They didn't want trans to use trans men and women. There was a trans man, right? A girl who wanted to be a man trying to use the men's bathroom. They wanted to make a law against that. This white lady, a liberal, said, well, if you don't want a trans to use your bathroom, then I guess I shouldn't let black people use my water fountain. This came from a liberal. I guess, oh, well, if you black and you don't want a man to use your daughter's bathroom, then I guess you shouldn't use my water fountain, nigga. Oh, I don't want no black peoples using my water fountain then. This is how they fucking think. Why? They will go to bat for that tranny before they go to bat for your black ass. And if you go against them trying to protect those the elemental P community, oh, they'll come for you. These are liberals. Some of the most racist folks of any group are in the elemental P community. You think gay white men like gay black dudes? Absolutely not. See, y'all think that because the Democrats hide their racism well, that they're better than the Republicans. No. No. Oh, yes, realize. Yes. These are things that are going on. When you piss a liberal off and you black, and they think that you're not, they want you to go on board with what they think. And if you don't, oh, imagine how many niggas you gonna beat in. You think you're not a nigga to these people? I'm light-skinned with green eyes. Do you think they look at me like a white man? You know what they see? They see my big ass lips and my broad black ass nose and my high cheekbones. That's what they see. When they see this, oh, you got some, oh, white people tell me all the time. White people with green or blue eyes are telling me I got pretty eyes. Do you think they do that to a white man? I know. You think I wouldn't get as much racism or more than a dark-skinned brother, but I do. Simply because I'm light-skinned with green eyes. They think they can say whatever the fuck they want to me. When I was in the military, in basic training, white dude, I guess he grew up around black folks, called me a nigga. I broke his hand. He was shaking my hand. He dapped me up and said, oh, my nigga. I broke his hand. I broke his hand right there on the spot. But he failed and broke his hand, officially. But we won't talk about that. But in reality, I've been called more niggas than any dark brother I know. I understand. Some Asian lady cut me off. I was going to Whole Foods in LA. She cut me off. I cut her ass back off. I didn't say a word. I just cut her off. You cut me off first. Light skinned and green eyed as I ever could be. You know what she yelled out the window to me? You're a nigger. I laughed. She called me a nigger. Do you think she saw light skinned and green eyed and said, no, you're not a nigger? No, she called me a nigger. I was in Arizona, minding my business, walking down the street, 18 years old. Car full of white people. Threw a bottle at me and called me a nigger. My light-skinned ass. Make no mistake. Make no mistake. Slim Hussein, yeah, absolutely. It is what it is. No, Unc Ruck, I'm not mixed. If you're going to call me mixed, you got to call any black person whose family line goes back generations in this country mixed. If you really know the history. If you know about all the graping and pillaging, all the breeding, you know. You can call me mixed. I don't care. I'm a black man. I don't care what you talk about with this mixed shit. Anyway, I'm gonna let y'all go, man. Don't get caught up in this left-right bullshit, because they all play a role. They play this role to convince you that what they're doing matters. Prove I'm not mixed? No, I don't gotta prove shit to you, Unc Ruck. I ain't gotta prove shit to you. I don't consider myself to be mixed. See, that, y'all can say that. Y'all can say that. But when it comes time to choose up, when it comes time to really get it popping, ain't no mixed. Now you want to focus on whether or not I'm mixed. It is what it is. I don't care. The bottom line is this. Y'all ain't fooling me. Y'all ain't, and exactly, Aaron, why always race? Because that's a reality. Bottom line is you're mixed. No, that's not the bottom line. The bottom line is when you try to create division for the real ones that understand the reality, that's the bottom line. The bottom line is the left-right paradigm lie has y'all on this bullshit. It's always a division. When up there, they're not divided. They're not divided unless, guess what? They get out of pocket, get out of line, get off code. Then they make an example out of you. P. Diddy, R. Kelly, Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell. Somewhere down the line, they stepped out of line and they got dealt with. That's what matters to them. They're not divided until you step out of pocket. They keep us divided down here unnaturally so that they can maintain their unity up there and their control of the people down here. Anyway, that's all I got for now, y'all. The bottom line is we need to release the list. Doesn't matter who's on it. Left, right, up, down, in, out. Indoor, outdoor, up door, down door. It doesn't fucking matter. Release that fucking list and show us who these demons are. Period. I don't care if they're left or right. Fuck it. It is what it is. Anyway, y'all stay safe out there. Why does the world want you deaf, dumb, and blind? Because you're easier to control that way. You're easier to manipulate. They feel like you're impressionable. Much love, like, share, subscribe, man. Be safe. Keep your children safe, first and foremost. Protect your children because society is not going to protect them like they protect the elemental P community. They're not going to protect them like they protect the small hats. They're not going to protect them like they protect anybody else in the world. And the government, damn sure ain't going to protect your children. They're making it easier for people to get away with victimizing your children. And they give you this registration. Oh, look, we have a registry for these people. You're okay. Meanwhile, there are hundreds of thousands of them living in your community. Right down the street, up the street, across the street. Oh, look, but they're on a registry, though. Be satisfied with that. Man, get the fuck out of here with that shit. Them motherfuckers shouldn't be on any registry if they did anything to a child. And if you call yourself a Christian, you know what God once done to those people, right? They want them anchored to a goddamn cinder block and dropped in the ocean. I'm paraphrasing. But anyway, much love, like, share, subscribe. And we're going to keep marching forward toward freedom. Peace.